Stop eating oatmeal, especially if you're trying to balance your hormones or heal estrogen-related symptoms. That sounds extreme, I know, but hear me out. What most folks think of as a harmless superfood for breakfast can, for certain people, quietly undermine energy, mineral status, gut comfort, and even the metabolic context that supports healthy hormone metabolism. I'm going to show you the science-backed reasons why, which 3 types of people might want to sit this one out, and practical swaps and fixes you can actually use tomorrow morning. First, quick fairness. Oats earned their reputation for good reasons. They contain avenanthramides, antioxidant compounds unique to oats, and beta-glucan, a soluble fiber linked to lowering LDL cholesterol and improving immune signaling. A typical cup of cooked oats also delivers a good amount of fiber for bowel regularity. Those are real benefits, and I'm not telling you to throw away every oat product, but that's only half the story. Here's the problem side you rarely see in feel-good superfood posts. Most commercial oat products people actually eat are loaded with added sugars. Those flavored instant packets, many add 10 to 20 grams of sugar or more per serving. That turns a bowl that could be a slow, steady breakfast into something that spikes glucose fast. Oats also contain phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that can bind minerals like iron, zinc, and magnesium in the gut and reduce their absorption under certain conditions. For people already low in these minerals or eating a diet low in bioavailable minerals, that may matter. Oats also carry lectins and other compounds that can irritate sensitive digestive systems, and cross-contamination with gluten is a real concern if you're highly sensitive. Finally, oats are a relatively high-carbohydrate, low-protein breakfast. 1 cup of cooked oats is roughly 32 grams of carbs and about 6 grams of protein. Add a banana and a tablespoon of honey, and you've pushed that carb load up to roughly 76 grams in one sitting. That's the macro combo that can trigger a glucose spike followed by an insulin-driven energy crash for people who are sugar-sensitive or have reactive hypoglycemia. If you're still with me, quick favor. If this is useful so far, hit the like button and ring the bell. I'll only say that once. Let me break this down into short, practical bites. First major issue, added sugar and processing. When you pick up a box of maple brown sugar instant oats, you're buying a candy bar disguised as breakfast. Those added carbs amplify the natural glycemic impact of oats. For someone trying to support stable estrogen metabolism, constant blood sugar swings can be important because they influence insulin, cortisol, and the proteins that carry sex hormones. Stable blood sugar helps keep hormone signaling predictable. Repeated spikes and crashes do not. Second, phytic acid and mineral binding.
Phytic acid is a storage form of phosphorus in seeds and grains. In the gut, it can chelate minerals, particularly iron, zinc, and magnesium, making them harder to absorb. In a balanced diet with varied sources of bioavailable minerals, this often isn't a problem. But if your diet leans plant-heavy without fortified foods or animal sources, or if you already have low iron or low zinc, the additional mineral binding load could be meaningful. That matters because iron, zinc, and magnesium are cofactors and enzymes that contribute to hormone synthesis and clearance. So again, oats don't block estrogen and they don't heal hormones by themselves, but they can change the nutrient landscape that hormones depend on. Third, gut sensitivity and lectins. Some people with IBS, Crohn's, reflux, or general GI irritation find oats physically uncomfortable, bloating, loose stools, reflux flare-ups. Oat proteins and residual lectins may exacerbate that in susceptible individuals. If the gut is inflamed, that inflammation can affect how the body metabolizes hormones and even how the liver processes estrogen conjugation and elimination. That's a lot of biochemical plumbing, but the practical takeaway is simple. A food that inflames your gut isn't helping your hormones. Now the immediate, actionable part. Who should strongly consider avoiding or modifying oats? The first group, people who feel off after grain-heavy breakfasts, tired, unfocused, sleepy. I'll never forget being 17 and passing out in geometry after a bowl of instant oats and a banana. If your mornings start with a carb spike and you crash mid-morning, try replacing that bowl for 2 weeks with a higher protein breakfast and track your energy. Swap example, 3 eggs cooked any style, about 18 to 21 grams protein, plus a small side of avocado for healthy fat, or a Greek yogurt bowl with 15 to 20 grams protein and a few chopped nuts. The second group, people with inflammatory gut conditions, IBS, Crohn's, active reflux. If oats cause bloating, pain, or reflux flare, prioritize gut-healing, low-reactivity breakfasts like soft-cooked eggs, bone broth, or tolerated low FODMAP options. Work with your GI clinician or dietitian for personalized testing and reintroduction plans. Don't self-diagnose. The third group, people who are sugar sensitive or have reactive hypoglycemia, prediabetes, or labile blood sugars.
For these folks, 76 grams of carbs at breakfast, remember the oats plus banana plus honey example, is often too much. Choose a protein and fat-forward morning, an omelet with vegetables or cottage cheese or Greek yogurt with a handful of nuts, or a smoothie with collagen or protein powder plus spinach and half an avocado. That slows gastric emptying, blunts peak glucose, and keeps insulin steadier, which supports a more even hormonal environment. If you like oats and don't fall into these three groups, that's okay. You don't need to ban them. There are practical mitigations that lower the downsides.
First mitigation: choose your oats wisely. Plain steel-cut or old-fashioned rolled oats are preferable to flavored instant packets. Steel-cut oats are less processed and usually have a lower glycemic response. Second, soak your oats. Traditional cultures have long soaked grains to reduce phytic acid. For home use, combine your oats with water in a 1:2 ratio. Add an acidifying agent like a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice per cup of dry oats. Refrigerate 6 to 12 hours, then discard the soak water, rinse, and cook or eat as overnight oats. Soaking activates phytase and can lower phytic acid content, improving mineral availability for many people. Third, pair oats with protein and fat. If 1 cup cooked oats is 32 grams carbs and only 6 grams protein, add a scoop of unflavored collagen or protein powder, half cup of Greek yogurt, or 2 tablespoons of nut butter. Target at least 15 to 20 grams of protein with the meal, and include 10 to 15 grams of healthy fat to blunt the glycemic peak. That reduces the insulin surge and the risk of that mid-morning crash. Fourth, watch portion and timing. If you're exercising in the morning or need a high-carb meal to fuel a long workout, oats may be appropriate pre-exercise. If you're sedentary in the morning, keep portions smaller and add protein and fat. Fifth, avoid added sugar and read labels. Flavored instant packets and even some granolas mask sugar as dried fruit or cane sugar. Look for plain oats and sweeten sparingly with fresh berries, cinnamon, or a small amount of maple if needed. Now, the segment the title demands, the estrogen angle. I'll be cautious and clear here. No single food heals estrogen or cures hormone disorders. That would be misleading. But diet patterns influence the nutrient and hormonal environment that determine how estrogen is produced, transported, and cleared. Minerals like magnesium and zinc support enzymes involved in steroid synthesis. Adequate protein provides amino acids that help produce carrier proteins and maintain liver function important for estrogen metabolism. Stable blood sugar and lower chronic inflammation reduce cortisol spikes that otherwise dysregulate sex hormones. So when I say estrogen-healing food doctors don't tell you, I mean there are dietary swaps and nutrient-focused strategies that can support healthy estrogen metabolism. And sometimes the way people are eating oats unintentionally undermines those strategies. Foods and strategies that may support healthy estrogen metabolism include ensuring adequate protein at each meal, eating a variety of cruciferous and leafy vegetables that supply micronutrients and fiber, getting healthy fats like olive oil and omega-3s for cell signaling, and addressing iron, zinc, and magnesium adequacy when labs or symptoms suggest deficiency. For some people, choosing a breakfast with more protein and less rapid digesting carbohydrate will create a steadier metabolic environment that supports hormone balance.
If you're considering making a change, here's a simple test protocol. Remove oats from breakfast for 2 weeks and replace with higher protein options while keeping the rest of your diet consistent. Note any changes in energy, cycle symptoms, brain fog, digestion, or sleep. If you have diabetes or take glucose-lowering medications, consult your clinician before changing carbohydrate intake and consider checking blood sugar during the experiment. If you have persistent hormonal symptoms, irregular cycles, heavy bleeding, severe PMS, or signs of thyroid dysfunction, see an endocrinologist or your primary care provider for lab testing and individualized care. Don't self-manage medication or assume dietary tweaks are a substitute for diagnosis. Quick recap. Oats are a legitimate fiber-rich whole grain with real benefits, but for some people, especially those with carb sensitivity, GI inflammation, or marginal mineral status, oats can contribute to issues that indirectly affect hormone balance and energy. If that sounds like you, try the swaps I mentioned: eggs, Greek yogurt with nuts, savory protein bowls, or smoothies with protein. If you want to keep oats, choose steel-cut, plain rolled, soak them, discard the soak water, and always pair them with protein and fat. So tell me, will you stop eating oatmeal, or will you keep it and try one of the fixes? Drop a comment below with how you eat your oats and whether this changes anything for you. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more evidence-minded nutrition tips and real swaps you can use tomorrow.